Hi Martin, and today I want to show you container queries. So this is the container queries Prolyfill. What is a Prolyfill? Prolyfill is basically the same as a polyfill, but a polyfill helps to support browsers which do not support a feature at the moment, and a Prolyfill enables a browser to do something which is not possible in any browser, but which will be probably possible, or which is a feature which is currently in development. And this is the case for the container queries. So while media queries act according to the viewport width, so if I scale down the viewport, then I can change something with CSS depending on the width of the viewport. So this is nice, but this can be problematic when we are building reusable interface modules, which we are using in a couple of places on the site. So the problem is then we want to style the modules differently. Maybe we have a module which lives in the main column and also in the sidebar column, and in the main column we want to have an image left and a text right, and in the sidebar the image should be on top and the text at the bottom, and the text may be a little bit smaller. So we cannot do this with media queries because the viewport is always the same, and this is a problem we have, and this is something smart people are working on. And the container queries Prolyfill allows us to style a component based on the width of the container, or even other things like the font size of the container or the text align of the container, and so on and so forth. So this is pretty awesome, and this is something which will be coming somewhere for browsers, maybe with the container queries syntax, maybe something else, but styling containers depending on styling modules depending on their own width or their containers width is something which we all want, and therefore I'm pretty sure this will be coming to browsers somewhere in the future. So yeah, that are container queries, and there's no solution at the moment, but then there is this Prolyfill which helps us do this. So how does this work? You download the container queries Prolyfill.min.js, and you can load it on the page, and then you can use something like this in your CSS. You have an element and then the container query. So this means these styles, like it says here, these styles are for the element if its container is at least 100 pixels wide. So element, the container of the element with a greater or equals 100 pixels. So you can do this for, as I said, for different CSS properties like the height or text align, which is pretty awesome. And here are the operators, and you can even do other things like color filters and check if the background color is very light or something like that. So there's a post CSS plugin and stuff, but I don't want to get into this at the moment. And this is how the Prolyfill works. Step 1, you write your CSS. Step 2, or part of step 1 is what is step 1 of the Prolyfill is it checks for the CSS files and then converts this into a readable syntax for the JavaScript, and then it stores all the stuff. And in step 3 it adds all the container query things as a class to the element, and then the Prolyfill can work off of that with JavaScript. So the browser support for the Prolyfill is pretty good, so I think you can use it probably in a production site, but it doesn't sound very performant, but it works. So maybe it's faster than I think. I don't know how to measure, calculate this, but it would be nice to see a large site making a lot of use of the container queries. A problem is if you are using SCSS or SAS, you cannot write CSS like that. It won't get compiled, but you can use PostCSS, and PostCSS does a lot of stuff for you. Or maybe you can educate SAS to allow this. I haven't done anything like that before. So in my simple test here on CodePen, I just use normal CSS and don't use any SAS. So I've loaded in the settings JavaScript, I've loaded the container queries Prolyfill, and this is all we need to do to make it work. So we have two different containers, a wrap and a second wrap, and then we have the same markup, a div class of box, in both containers. So both wraps have a margin bottom and a border, just so we can see them. And the first wrap has a width of 80 pixels, the small one, and the second of 200 pixels, and the box is always a height of 200 pixels and a width of 100%. And normally the background is cornflower blue, which is this. So this makes sense. Wrap 80 pixels, box is 100% white, and awesome. So in wrap 2 is 200 pixels and the box is also 100% white. And then we have our container query. So the box, which is this and this one. And then we look for the container, which is the wrap 2 or the wrap 1. And look, if the width is 100 pixels wide or wider, then please make this box background crimson, which is the red one. So yeah, this was pretty easy, I guess. So wrap 2 with 200 pixels is wider than 100 pixels, so the box in this wrap, which is the container of the box, yeah, the box is background crimson. So this is awesome. This is very easy to use, I think, and hopefully easy to understand. And now you could do a lot of different stuff and style these completely differently. This is only a simple solution to see, simple example to see if it works. So I changed only the background color, but you can go to the container queries demo, which you can go to from the GitHub repo of the container queries Prolyfill, and click on this link and you get to the demo. So, and now I can read, these are 3 modules with the completely same markup, and if I resize their container, you can see what happens. The content changes, the styling of the content changes, but the viewport stayed the same. Only the container is smaller, and if it gets even smaller, there's more going on. Awesome. And now we can not only query for the width of the container, but also for, let's say, the text align right. If I change the text align to right, the text will align on the right, but also the image will go to the right. And I can increase the font size, and the styling of the module changes. So we can use this markup for this module and use it in all over the website, and depending on where it lives, so if it lives in a small sidebar or in a big main column or wherever, it can be styled differently automatically. This is yeah, game changing, I would say, for people who like to build modular, which will hopefully be everybody. So these are the container queries. This is a Prolyfill. The feature is not in any browser, but you can use it. It's working today in a lot of browsers, maybe everything you really need. And yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this. Container queries Prolyfill. Use it, try it out, play with it. This might be coming to browsers in this form or in a slightly other way. And yeah, watch the Responsive Images community group, which is driving the effort forward. And thank you to all the people working on this. This is the future of modular building. So thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.